I would have killed for someone to talk to me
Yeah.
at that age.
Yep.
I would have killed it because you feel like you're by yourself and you're under the pump. And
Yeah. G'day folks, welcome back to another Sauna Sessions with Shay. I've got a special guest in the barrel sauna today. I've been trying to get this guy on for a long time. Really excited that he's here. Absolute champion bloke. We've just played 9 holes today. I'm glad we didn't play 18 because he would have absolutely scorched me. This guy is a builder in Southeast Queensland. He's been building for the last 20 years. Just an all-round good bloke. But I wanted to get him in today because he's had to deal with some adversity through his life like we all have. But he's got some great stories to tell, and I just want to talk to him about the process that he went through to deal with all these things. But a big warm welcome to Brett Fowler. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming in, mate. It's an absolute pleasure. Yeah, just on that 9 holes, mate, how good was that just to get out in the sunshine this afternoon?
It's the best way to end the week. Sunday afternoon, have a hit. Yeah, in the afternoon, it was good.
The breeze, 5-6 knots. It's just, and the sun's out. I wouldn't have wished to be anywhere else than on the golf course with you, mate, having a hit.
Yeah, there was no excuses today.
I've just got word from my producer that I forget all the time, mate, but you've got to do the honorary ladling of the first water.
Yes,
so
we'll
just make sure you don't burn yourself, mate. But if you could throw that on the hot rocks just to get us out of the gates, that'd be great. There we go. Just for the punters at home, there's the sizzle. We're off to the races. All right. Thanks, mate. Didn't burn yourself, did you?
No, all good.
But, yeah, mate, now, like, obviously with what you do as a builder, it's a high-stress job, a lot of pressure. Do you find yourself the golf is your outlet to, get away from all that stuff?
It definitely is one of them. I think golf's great because to do any good at it, you've got to be fully focused on it, which means it takes your mind away from everything else.
Yep.
And I think, especially a lot of the builders I know, all seem to have some sort of outlet like that, whether it's dirt bike racing or something that takes your full attention.
Yep.
And golf definitely does that, yeah.
Well, I'd say like on Dwayne's, a lot of it, I'm into motor racing, like in short, sharp bursts, and it's like you can't think of anything else but, that 10 seconds of, going around it, flying around a track.
Yep.
So it's just getting out of the mindset because it can be all just
it can be all consuming.
Yeah. All consuming, yeah.
100% building, yeah.
Now, mate, obviously, because you've been on Dwayne's podcast a few times and talked about there was a couple of instances where you were almost ready to pack it in, call it a day.
Yes.
Sell all the tools, sell the van, tell the boys that, you're going to go find another job.
Yeah, I had a full plan of how I was going to wind it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got to a stage there where I just thought it was impossible to make any money or make a living or exist in the building industry without a lot of risk, and just the risk reward just wasn't there for me at the time. From what I've learned now, that was just a lack of knowledge. I just needed to learn more about it and understand how to cope with it. But at the time, I'd had enough. Mm-hmm. And had a full plan. I had jobs lined up for the other guys and everything.
Yeah, right.
I was going to check out.
So that turned into a full-time job to actually get out of your full-time job.
I suppose it did in a way. Yeah, but when I was doing it, it was nearly like taking pressure off because I could see the end.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And
it wasn't until I got started that process that I could see the end. That sort of the weight come off my shoulders, and then I had more clarity around what I needed to do to actually run the business properly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it was like take a bit of weight off to actually think clearly.
And were you actually thinking, well, I'm going to go become a bus driver, or like?
No, I've always loved woodwork.
Yep.
Just finer woodwork, and I was just going to do that just by myself. I had, at the time I felt I just wanted to do something that I was just responsible for.
Yep.
I didn't have all the pressure that comes with clients and employees and all that sort of thing with the build industry. So that was the plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know how well I would have done that. I enjoy woodwork. I don't know if I can do it to a level to make a lot of money out of it. But.
Well, the other thing with that, though, is we're not taught these things, are we? Like we go through school, we're taught how to, the blue-collar worker, the 9 to 5, check in, check out.
Yep.
So when you're running your own business and then you're getting information or misinformation from other builders on how to run your business, it can be a little confusing at times, can't it?
But we go into trades to do the on-site stuff. We don't go in, and there's very little education in your trade about running a business. That's not what it is. You're there. You learn how to be an employee. Really, you learn how to do a trade, and when you start working for yourself, whether it's subcontract type stuff, which I never really done, but just went straight into our business in the low-rise stuff. So, yeah, you just don't know what you don't know, and there's just
That's it,
it's very easy to get going in the industry, I think. And everyone's making it up as they go at that stage, I reckon.
But I see similar. I did 8 years of study, film degree and drama and all that stuff. But I was doing it later in life, and I saw that there was a gap between actually studying and then getting out in the real world and making money. Right, and the people that were teaching me really didn't have the business savvy or the skills to get me out there in the real world.
Yep.
And a lot of them are preaching, a university for the real world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's just not the case. So is it very similar as a builder? You're going through. So what you got? Your apprenticeship. You got 4-year apprenticeship.
Yep.
You're not ready, are you, to go out and?
Look, 4 years, you don't even know your own trade yet.
Yeah.
4 years is just, but we've got to cap it somewhere.
Yeah.
You're constantly learning, and I would say, I probably didn't become really competent until I'd done. So I was qualified, and I'd built my mum a house, Tanae's parents a house.
Yep.
You do that stuff. Back then, you do it as cashies and whatever, and that's where you get your real experience from learning.
Picking skills up, yeah.
Well, you'd learn the hard way, because if you made a mistake, you felt the financial burden of it as well.
Yeah.
That's where you learn the most from, I think. But definitely, and look, I don't really know the answer. Further coaching and further learning after your trade is definitely a must, and definitely before you go out on your own. But they have tried to put things in place with supervisors, like ideally you're supposed to be a licensed supervisor for 2 years before you go on your own.
Okay.
The problem with that is you're not getting many builders taking you under your wing and showing you the things behind the scenes. No builder can do that. You're supervising jobs on site.
Yep.
You're still not learning how to run a building business.
Yeah. So there's a lot of builders, I suppose, don't want to give away their secret, tricks of the trade.
I think that was a mindset.
It's an old mindset. Yeah. Now everyone's changed their view on that.
I'm on the fence about this. I don't know whether it was a matter of them not wanting to give away the secrets. Well, they didn't really know what they were doing at all, and they didn't want to educate anyone.
Yeah, right.
They were fumbling their way through it as well a lot, I reckon.
Yep.
And I know after conversations I've had with my previous bosses, like where I started, we've had a lot of talks about this, and they were uneducated on it too.
Yeah, okay. So everyone's just putting this front up that everything's hunky-dory. It's just not the case.
And the amount of pressure, the pressure it puts on you, being a residential or any home sort of builder, but I feel it in the custom or residential renovation side of things.
Yep.
There's just so many pressures and so many things that you've got to be on top of, and until you really have your head around how to run the business, it's really hard to put all them other things in place.
Yep.
At the same time, they all have to happen together.
Yeah. Spot on.
It's real hard to get it all working together.
All right, so you're putting all these plans into place. You're going to get all the boys other jobs. You're starting to wind up. And what was it? Was it an epiphany, a revelation? What happened to say, no, fuck it, I'm going to give it another shot, another crack?
I think deep down it was me not wanting to feel like I quit on it.
Yeah, because I've wanted to be a builder since there's pictures of me with a hammer in my hand at 2 and 3 years old.
Okay.
Like that's always what I was going to do.
Yep.
Little did I know what the actual being a builder meant back then. That you think young, you're building houses, and it's so much more than that.
Yep.
But I think it was with that clarity that come with realising there was feeling like there was light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, okay.
I could see where the pressure wasn't going to be there.
Yep.
It allowed me to view things differently.
Right.
And I think that coincided with meeting Dwayne and some of the talks where we have become quite good mates, and we're on the same page with a lot of things actually. And one of the conversations I had with him, and then I think we went for a game of golf the following week, and I hadn't told him that I was signing up to Live Life Build. I just thought that was going to be. I thought I don't want to bail out not feeling like I've given it a full crack.
Yep.
And up until that point, I hadn't got any any business coaching or builders coaching or anything like that. So
for all the punters at home, Live Life Build is a business that helps builders run better businesses and enjoy the journey, or even help clients enjoy the journey of building their. But it's based around builders.
Yep. Teaching builders to run a better business. Yep.
We've done some work for them, and they are just the culture that they build and the camaraderie with each of the builders with each other. You can be vulnerable. If you've got any questions, you ask other builders. Everyone's helping each other out. It's a very tight-knit community.
It is. It's such a supportive community, yeah. And I've been in it for over 2 years.
You're one of the
now.
pioneers. You're one of
I was
the
one
originals.
of the first ones with Luke and Luke Curry and a few of them boys.
Yep.
But I go through periods of delving into the works of it a lot, and I'll go through periods where we're doing it in the background, implementing stuff, and I actually don't. But I love the place. I love Live Life Build so much and what it's doing. I'll stay part of that forever just to support the fact that they're doing it, and just the camaraderie you get from the builders within there. Like, it's very rare that you get a group of people going through the same struggles and dealing with the same pressures, but then looking to help each other.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we were talking on the golf course today. Just that from an outsider looking in, because I'm doing some of the camera work sometimes. It's infectious. You want to be part of that. And the conversations I'm having with all you boys too, it's like I'm part of the group.
Yeah, you definitely feel like it too when you've been on a lot of the trips.
For sure.
We all feel like you've just been a part of it.
But it's a good feeling, and you feel like you're surrounded by people that give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's it's kind of like going to a Coachella or a concert, or not that I've been to bloody the one in the desert, but where Burning Man, yeah. But you feel like you've left society behind, and you've got these like-minded individuals that are problem-solving, working out how to run better businesses, talking about what doesn't work, what does work, and then you go back to the real world and implement it.
It's actually, I find it really inspirational, even just when we do some builders breakfast groups in Brisbane as well, just going to them, being around people who are just trying to do things in the building industry the best possible way they can. They're always trying to improve.
Yep.
If I'm going through a bit of a slump or I'm feeling like things have been hard, just by attending those sort of things, I come out of there on a high and just ready to
nice.
and with a new sense of clarity again. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, being a part of that group has been the best thing ever. And I'd say, combination of that and just learning more, understanding myself more. That was the reason I wanted to give it one more crack, and it's been the best it's ever been.
Well, mate, I'm glad you did, because then we met. Yep. And mate, we've always had good bloody conversations, and that's why I was so stoked that we've started the day with 9 holes. It's the best way to start the sauna session, mate, because there's just having a hit, and we've just got some information that the Cowboys have won.
That's important. Yeah,
they were. My producer and / wife is very excited that the Cowboys have won. Thanks for that info, hun. They were down by 20, I think. They've come big comeback.
Yeah, Queensland spirit.
Yeah. Origin's coming. Oh God. Well, yeah, you're a Queenslander, but you're a Victorian.
Yeah, I'm a ring-in. Yeah. So I was born in Victoria. Mum was from Tasmania. We ended up in Tassie for a big period of about 15 years, and that's where I done my trade.
Okay. Yep. Nice. So, is there a big difference between learning the trade down in Victoria and then coming up to Queensland?
So one of the whole reasons I went to Tassie to do it, so I stayed in Victoria with Dad when the parents split. I stayed in Victoria, and one of Dad's good mates, Noggin, who's a builder.
Yeah.
He it was in year 7. I was finishing year 7. He said, and I knew I wanted to be doing an apprenticeship and become a builder. And he said, if you get the chance, go down and do it in Tassie.
Yep.
He said they still build the old-fashioned way where a builder builds the whole house. And it's not. Over in the bigger cities and over in the mainland here, it's a lot more project buildery. There's expert framers and cladders and that sort of thing. It's really broken up, and you don't learn the full experience or the full process of building a house. So
gotcha.
I pretty much that was, as soon as I got told that was just the way my head went, and I was going to Tassie to finish school. And
right.
So,
Okay, so you started in Victoria, and then you moved to, what age did you move to Tassie?
12.
12,
Yep.
Okay, and then how many years in Tassie?
It was about 15.
Yeah, wow.
A bit less, 13 years, so I left there when I was about 25.
Oh, there you go. Shit, I didn't realise that. There you go. I thought your whole time was in Victoria, but no, it's Tasmania for a big chunk of it.
Tasmanian,
Yeah. Nice, mate. And so you've, and as you said, like you picked up a hammer when you were 2 or 3, so you knew it was in the blood.
Yeah, so a lot of people in the family were concreters or track carpenters or whatever like that. Dad was always handy with all that sort of stuff. And I've always just been building something or pulling something apart. Yeah.
Mate, it's the one thing from the outside looking in again that I see that you can bring a tear to your eye is someone that is passionate and driven, right? And that is what they're meant to do. They're picking up hammers at the age of 2, right? But they haven't learnt the skill of running the business. And the stress and the anxiety and everything that comes with not understanding how to run a business, they lose the passion.
Yep, 100%.
And then they do something that isn't their passion, and it's just a ghostly person going through life.
It's a bit of a misunderstanding that what a builder is these days.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think there's
because you're more of a businessman than you are a builder.
Yep.
And I've said it before, I think you'd be more successful in this industry when you're starting out if you're a businessman and you could hire the people to do the building part of it.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah, definitely having the knowledge of the building side of it when you're estimating and educating clients, things definitely helps. But the steps you take backwards, learning the business stuff.
Yep.
Obviously, usually, and a lot of the time is the end for a lot of builders and a lot of businesses.
Gotcha.
They don't make it through. So many. So,
Gotcha.
I think for anyone getting into it, the sooner you can get some business coaching or professional builder, and it needs to be industry specific, I think.
Yep.
But any sort of business coaching will help. Yeah.
So is that when you started on a path to self-development as well? You started looking into different ways to better yourself?
Yeah, not initially, but I delved straight, because once I started Live Life Build, it was like music to my ears it was in the platform.
Yep.
And I powered through the first part of it. I was in it like 24/7. I was up at 2:30, 3
I remember you
o'clock.
saying,
I just loved it because it was the stuff, and a lot of this stuff you already know, but you don't. A lot of the stuff takes a lot to implement, so you sort of not making big inroads because you're unsure whether that's the right way.
Yep.
To have someone like Dwayne and Amelia and Dwayne implementing all this stuff in his own business, it just gives you the confidence just to go ahead with it, and it sort of gets once you get the ball rolling, you're away. There's so many elements to it that.
So I'll just tell the people at home too. So Dwayne, I work with Dwayne. He's a builder, but he's partnered up with an architect called Amelia Lee, who's the undercover architect, and together they are changing the
industry,
the building industry.
It's the best combination that you can imagine, I think.
And they've been through the they've been through the worst of it, and come out the other side. So they know what they're talking about. I think this is another thing. There's a lot of people out there that are putting business courses together. They haven't gone through the hard yards, or they're not
got to have
actually
the runs on the board. They've got to have lived it.
Yeah,
I think it's there is plenty out there, and we looked at all sorts of business coaches and business coaches years ago, and they all had a feeling that it just wasn't quite right. But once I come across Live Life Build, I felt that definitely was right. It didn't take me long to jump into that.
Yeah. You started it I don't know. I started doing this about 10 years ago after I'd just spent $30,000 on 2-3 degrees. Right? Is like, hang on, how many? So I did a film degree. How many films did my head lecturer make? Do you know what I mean? I think they're really important questions to ask. And how much money did that film make? Because you still have to you've got to be making money. It's a business.
Well, even you go back to trade school, TAFE teachers, they're a lot of the time they're retired or unsuccessful builders.
So they can teach you how to wield a hammer.
The craftsmanship of it.
And the artistry of it. And they're 9 out of those 10 people are excellent at the trade, aren't they? Yeah,
definitely.
It's just absolute perfectionists and just really good. But when it comes to the business, the receipts are in the bloody ashtray in the old Hilux, aren't they?
Yeah. So 100%. Yeah, I went through that as well. Yeah,
but they're and so in some ways, I don't know. You got to be aware and look into that stuff, because there's, I don't know, you can spend a lot of money on education, but it may be leading you down the wrong track. So
and with that piece, I reckon you've got to be at a point where you're open to taking it on board. Because a lot of the stuff that I've learned through Live Life Build, it's not the first time I've heard a lot of it. I've been told this stuff, and you're young and naive, and no, I'm going to be different to everyone. We'll be successful. And I started with $5,000 in the bank after we had our insurances and our licenses. I had a float of $5,000. Well, the second week that was gone. It was just like shit. And then so you start on the back foot from the start, and then when you're chasing your tail and you're under pressure, you make poor decisions. You can't, and a lot of people think they can't afford to get any help, but you can't afford not to. And it's a real hard thing to switch in your mind.
Well, it was because you've got to take that leap, and you may find, and obviously I think you may go to 3 mentors that to put you on the wrong path. So that's got to start to go, well, hang on, is this 4th one going to be the same?
But
you've got to jump in at some stage, and learn what you don't know.
I agree. And I've said it to people, and because I talk to so many builders now since we've been doing Live Life Build, and even with the podcast and stuff with Dwayne's Level Up podcast, we've had heaps of young builders that I talk to. Tanae's always on to me about, you don't value your time, you're talking to all these young guys. I would have killed for someone to talk to me at that age. I would have killed it, because you feel like you're by yourself and you're under the pump. And, And I want to give that to be able to do as much as I can.
Like, I think it's not just in the building sector, but it's also across most industries. Is the young person going to the guy for just a bit of, show me what to do, or I don't want to make the same mistakes as you. And ego can get in the way sometimes. And they may tell you something that's just to get you the fuck out of their face. Or they may tell you something that, is just, it leads you on a path that's to anxiety and stress and destruction. So
I feel when you ask for help and people aren't willing to help you, it's generally an insecurity of theirs.
For sure.
That you're going to surpass them or something, or you're going to be a threat to them.
Yeah.
That's slowly changing.
Yep.
And I think that it'd be interesting to know from in a small town. We're in Brisbane, obviously, and there's plenty of work to go around for everyone. And, we're better off having everyone in the industry building better. That lifts the name or lifts the we don't have that sort of negative mindset around builders.
What's the stigma of builders at the moment? It's still not great, is it? But it's I can see that the boat's starting to shift in the right direction.
I think it is. I think it is. And if enough people, enough people will help each other. If we all help each other, I think it's definitely on the up. And with people, things like Dwayne, all these sort of things happening, social media gets that word out there so much better. We're getting a lot more. We've been going for nearly 9 years now, but at the start, I felt like every client we met, we had to win their trust first. It was like an audition, like you were starting behind the 8 ball just because of who knows what they've
You bring the top hat and the rabbit and the wand,
their best friend and family had a shocking builder, and all of a sudden that's the perception of all builders. So, but we're getting... And now we're getting people sort of seek us out because they know we're good to work with, and we've had that repeat. We're getting some runs on the board with that, and I mean everything we do comes from with the best intentions. I think that's starting to come through
for sure. Yeah.
So the more builders that are doing that, the tide will turn. Yeah.
Well, I think even with the PAC process, which is paid as a consultant, I think a lot of industries could pick that up, and because the building industry. Like, how many builders spend their Saturday and Sunday quoting for something and maybe not even get a phone call back that you didn't get the job?
Yep.
And you just lost 48 hours of your bloody time on this planet quoting for something that never eventuates.
But if something's free, no one values it.
Spot on, yeah.
And that's what I've learned. And I remember the first time I ever charged, it was before we met started Live Loft Build, but we charged a preliminary fee, and I think it was only $500.
Yep.
I was as nervous as a shithouse rat. I was just... sweating bullets.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And so when people understand it and people don't expect you can't expect a good result for free. It's just not how the world works. Everything that all our time is resources that we could be using elsewhere. We need to maximise our time as much as we can.
Yeah.
And people, that word's getting out there too.
Yeah. Well, look, mate, I'm like, because what I do is like, people come to me for a quote, right? And you throw something together, but you're not on the same page. So I've changed my tune to actually say, right, well, I'll give you my skills and my knowledge for an hour of time to get on the same page. You can keep all that skills and knowledge, but you're going to pay me for that upfront for those skills and knowledge, and we get to know each other.
Well, you're providing a professional service. You don't go to the doctor for a checkup, and if there's nothing wrong with you don't pay.
That's right.
But in saying
but with the quoting process, it's flawed from the first second because you're then working on that job. It's like, well, I've got to think about how many bloody noggins go in here and what paint we need here. Like, you're starting to work on the job, but you're not getting paid for it. It's actually just idiotic.
Yeah, it is. Doesn't make much sense. Yeah. It's just the way it's been for so long, and it's hard for some people to get their head around it. And look, a lot of clients that come through our inquiry process, every now and then we get one that just think that's just not a fair thing to pay for it.
And that's okay.
That's completely fine. There will still builders out there that will do that.
But you then still leave as friends. Like, in some way, like, there's no harm, no foul. When it comes to $100,000, $200,000 and you've got discrepancies there, that's when shit hits the fan. Yeah. And that's when
it's the most important part of it.
Yeah.
It's the reason, I would say it's one of the biggest reasons our whole business has taken the turn it has, is the information and the knowledge you get out of the PAC process to allow you to actually, with renovations especially, find, like, a lot of the time we're creating the scope for the job in these things. Like, a set of plans only tell you so much when you're working on an existing house. So it's just such a valuable process, and when people actually value it and they put their time into it, we get some great outcomes.
And I imagine now the clients that you hang out with, you've got your values and your just ethics, everything aligns. And so you end a job, it's like you've just been through a marriage in some way, and you probably end up good mates at the end of it.
Yeah, it is. Well, we've got a lot. luckily enough to have a lot of really good testimonials recorded now, which is something that I'm really grateful for clients to get in front of the camera and do it. I know that's such a nervous thing. We're getting better at it ourselves as we do it more, but that's something that...
I've noticed you've been doing the Friday wins and getting in front of the camera, doing a few of those.
It's something that I definitely want to do. I see the value in it. I'm feeling more comfortable in it. Something I made a big effort in.
Now, mate, we've been camping a few times with your whole team. Now, you've got how many boys are in the team?
8 of them.
8. How do you find the push and pull of being a leader? Because it can be a tricky one.
Yeah, so I've never liked the word boss.
And
I've never ever called myself a boss, I don't feel like... The word "we" is always what springs to mind in our whole business, and because I can't do any of it without them, and now with Anne in the office as well. Like, we can't be doing what we're doing. It's not a one-person thing. So I don't feel like I'm like a boss figure or anything like that. I think by letting the guys that we've got, so the guys we've had for a while, Dave and Will and Joel and them guys, allowing them to become the leaders that they are. They need to be the leaders on site, and we need to have that mutual respect that we both can't do our job without each other.
There you go.
And that's sort of always... It's never sat well with me feeling or being called a boss. I've
always hated it. It's a nicky word, isn't it?
Yeah, I never liked it, and I've never felt like I'm a boss. I'm not the boss of anyone. Like I'm not forcing them to do anything. We want to create a place where they want to work for us and they want to build and do nice.
But there's an unspoken respect for you as well because of that, I feel. And you can, I think having, the bonfires and the camps, you start to even gel even tighter.
And our golf, like we all play golf together.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
So we love that. But you've got to have people on the same page, I think, or enjoy doing it. If you can get a team that enjoys spending time with each other outside the work, when they're not being paid to be there. That's when it goes next level.
Yeah, right.
Because in our game, we do some hard jobs, work that no one, hard jobs that...
You're in the trenches with each other.
Yeah, and people might be dealing with stuff outside of work, and it's incredible how well you need to get together, how well you need to get along in a building or a business where you're under the pressure and working in confined spaces like that with each other. It's something that's probably not thought about as much.
No, but you got 8 people on site. You got 8 different personalities. You've got 8 different sets of
scenarios outside of work.
I've got this thing going on. My dog died. You know what I mean? Like, there's 1,000 things that could be going on in their life behind the scenes. And obviously, you're starting to create a culture now too, where you want them to come to talk to you. Is that something that's becoming more prevalent in your business?
I've had to juggle. How good at the mateship side of it. I've had to really tread that line quite finely because you can get to the stage where it goes too much like mates and they don't take it seriously, or they'll think they can get away with certain things. And so it's just that knowing where that mutual respect line is. Our guys over the years have been quite good at it. They're quite good at pulling each other in the line.
There you go.
That's something I encourage too. If there's something that we've scrapped it now, but we used to have a fine system where if there was a silly mistake or someone had done something they shouldn't have done, there was a carton.
Okay.
We had to can that, and they said it's counterintuitive because they feel they can't show any initiative and risk of making a mistake. Okay. So we had to, because one of the apprentices owed 8 cartons out once. So they never got paid, obviously. I think he had to. I think we swapped them out for 5 shots per carton with paintballs.
Right. Okay, so you turned it into it was a skirmish thing.
Having that mutual respect within the group, I think that's where that's when it goes well.
But the other thing too, where they self-governing themselves, and and you're left to do other things in the business as opposed to always be, no, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. That's when it starts to automate itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, and at times I've got to make sure I keep myself out of it too, because we've put that structure in place. There's an order that information has to go through. So if I don't want to be undermining the leading hands as well. So I've got to learn where my place is on site. As well. That's been something to take into account as we've grown.
Awesome, mate. Look, because bloody the electronics and these things, I've just got to keep my eye on them. But I wanted to talk to you before we wrapped up, mate, about you've got a box car rally coming up with Dwayne. Now, what's the story behind that?
So it's a fundraiser. There's it's like it's one of the brothers of the shitbox rally. That's the biggest one. And this is the box rally. So it's a 5-day we start at Airlie Beach and end in Airlie Beach, but apart from that, we don't know where we're going.
So it's a loop. Oh, you don't know?
It's out into the inland,
into the
desert, and then back. So yeah,
so 5 days. Holy
5
shit.
days. Yeah, we've just got our car. We just got.
What sort of car you got?
I think it's a '92 station wagon, Commodore station wagon.
Okay, and so what's the rules of engagement? Like, can you modify it?
You've got to make sure it's got to be roadworthy, obviously, and it wants to be semi-reliable.
Right, okay.
There's things in place for repairs and stuff along the way, but there's not a lot of rules around it. There's the safety side of it, and then it's the organisers organise a lot of it, so it's sort of keeping you knowing very little. You got to take the bare minimum. Just there's a bit of a theme. Each team's got to have a closed theme. So,
have you had enough donga cars in your lifetime to be able to work on a car on the fly?
I'm not mechanically savvy at all. Dwayne is.
Dwayne's got
I'm good at doing what I'm told, so I'll be the lucky. I'll probably be the one on my ass under the car after.
And so, are you sleeping in between, or are you just swapping and
take
driving?
swags? Every night's got to stop and the function and the fundraising every night.
Oh, mate, nice.
Yeah, but apart from that, we don't get told a great deal.
Right. Okay. Awesome, mate. So that's raising funds for the Cancer Council.
Cancer Council. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've both had a lot. Everyone's been touched by cancer in some way. But my dad passed away he had cancer in his bladder. He passed away of that nearly 10 years ago now. Over 10 years ago.
Right.
We've recently had Dave, our leading hand, lost his sister.
Oh, shit,
they're coming to a couple of real close ones. Mum's beat cancer when she was younger, and we've seen what that done for her health and everything. So it's just something we want to be able to do anything we can for when I feel obligated to when we're in pretty good health.
Oh, for sure, mate.
Definitely not in perfect health, but I'm in better health than a lot. So
mate,
I feel like we should be doing something.
I remind myself daily about that because, we're like, I don't know, I'm kind of maybe halfway through life, what's going on, but I've never taken health for granted. The fact that I can walk 9 holes with you and feel pain free,
and we zigzagged everywhere all over that course.
We did, yeah. But it felt good just to, it's something that when you don't have your health, you know about it. So it's and you've had a few health.
I'm in a rebuilding phase. I've had a hip replacement. Recently, so that's going really well.
Kept you off the golf clubs for a couple of months.
Yeah, a couple of months. Yep. That was well overdue, the hip replacement.
Yep.
It was unreal to get that done. But footy injuries, knees and shoulders and hands and stuff, all that sort of stuff. And then I've had ulcerative colitis, which is similar to Crohn's.
Okay.
I've had since I was about 19.
Oh, shit, mate.
So but look, in a big scheme of things, it's just minor shit. You cannot, and you got to humble yourself and not.
Yep.
Some days you think, fuck, what are you whinging about? Like, you've got nothing to complain about.
Get
out, just get on with it. So.
Well, mate, next time we're playing for sheep stations next time again.
Next time.
Hey, Brett, I appreciate your time, mate. Thank you so much for coming up and, the 9 holes and then also coming into the sauna for a chat. Mate, and so I didn't even mention your business, Saltash Homes.
Yep, Saltash Homes, residential building company. We specialise in Queenslanders and custom homes in Southeast Brisbane.
All right, so jump on the website, Saltash, is it?
Saltash Homes, or any of the socials.
Yep, jump on Google, check them out. Mate, thank you so much for jumping in the sauna with us today.
No worries,
guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you for the next sauna session.